Hello everyone, Precise7 here, back with some more Bloons TD6. This time we are seeing if super buffed Sun Avatar can beat Bloonarius. This is probably the first and only tier 3 tower I'm actually going to do, seeing as it's probably the only tier 3 tower that can actually do this, well aside from maybe, Dark Knight, but that'll be for another day. So, decided to do Sun Avatar because Sun Avatar, does respond strongly to buffs, seeing as it does have 3 projectiles, and I'm pretty sure that the beams that Sun Avatar shoots, I'll all do 1 damage, so for maximum only 3 damage. So of course it's going to benefit greatly from things like, Permabrew, Homeland, Ultra Boost, pretty much any buff you can really think of, Sun Avatar is going to benefit pretty heavily from. And decided to do it on this week's Bloonarius, which is pretty easy. It's actually easy prices, as well as majority of heroes are banned, so unfortunately there's no really Geraldo for this week, I'm pretty sure, but instead I decided to choose Adora, which Adora would probably even be the better choice besides, Geraldo, seeing as, Adora does provide double attack speed for the Sun Avatars or above. So figured, yeah, probably Adora would probably be the best hero. Even if Geraldo was allowed, I don't think he would be all that great. I figured Sun Avatar would probably be fun to do, seeing as, obviously, Temple and True Sun God both are definitely strong enough to actually beat Bloonarius by itself, but what about, the tier 3? Savitar, probably the strongest tier 3 tower in the game, if I do have to say. Although I guess maybe Dark Knight or Robomonkey could maybe come close, but I guess just in terms of overall power, Sun Avatar and Dark Knight are definitely tied, I'd probably say. Well, I guess, it's not really the best tier 3 tower in the game, seeing as, of course, Alchemist does exist, so I think, just because Alchemist exists, definitely, the 300 is definitely probably the best tier 3 tower in the game, if I do have to say. Giving +1 damage and lead popping to any tower is nutty. So this tier of Bloonarius is probably so far the easiest tier of Bloonarius I had to do so far. It literally was just kind of, buy Sun Avatar and then win. And just get some, light buffs like, Jungle Drums, Alchemist. That's pretty much it. And Sun Avatar is easily able to handle the rest. Of course, since we're going middle path, it does have extra pierce. Middle path is better in this case since we are buffing it. 302 is usually only used if, mainly just kind of for early game. Plus, we do need the extra pierce, so that way Sun Avatar can beat the ceramics. But seeing as, how well Sun Avatar actually did kill the first skull of ceramics, it seems that we're having no trouble for this one. I think it's probably as easy as, like, with attack. Attack was also this easy. I didn't even have to use Adora's attack speed buffs, but at this stage I really can't really utilize that, seeing as, Adora I can't really sacrifice anything at the moment. Unless I want to sacrifice farms, but that's not really the best thing that you want to do. It did suck I had to sell literally everything in order to afford Sun Avatar, but I figured that it'd probably be best to get Sun Avatar right now instead of trying to skimp out and buy just a 220 Super Monkey. So probably would need a lot of support in order to actually be good. I decided to sell Sun Avatar just for more farms, and I figured that'd probably be the best thing to do. I decided to go for a little Trade Empire army, as I figured that, since this week is so easy, why not make it just a bit harder by kind of handicapping myself with money and going for, I guess, well, I wouldn't really call it an inefficient farm, seeing as, Trade Empire army is pretty good, but since there's not enough water to get all 20, I figured that it'd probably be best if I just kind of did this. I even sacrificed the marketplace in order for the attack speed from Adora. Not really sure that was actually a good idea, seeing as I'm having overclock come up pretty quickly, but I figured that is probably be semi-decent. So I figured, hey, why not? Just kind of do it. Seeing as, it's probably not going to be used until tier 5, which it ended up not being used until tier 5, so I was able to break that. But even tier Sun Avatar with light buffs is still doing fairly decent against this tier Bloonarius. It is going to be a bit closer than it was for, tier 1, but even still, Sun Avatar with light buffs is still doing pretty good against Bloonarius, although this tier is definitely going to take a lot longer than it realistically should. But this does have the added benefit of making the rest of the challenge a bit harder, seeing as, since it's taking so long to kill Bloonarius, I can't focus all my efforts on farming. Although at the moment I kind of am, simply just because I figured that overclock Sun Avatar probably can beat this tier Bloonarius, so I'm just kind of buying favored trades, even though I really should be going for farms instead. I'm only going to get 8 stacks. That was the most I was actually able to fit in this. With pixel perfect placement, you could probably get like 10 or 11, you're definitely not going to get all 20. There's definitely not enough water here. Boats are too fat in order to actually fit all 20 in this little kind of lake or pond that you have here. But I figured, hey, why not? So the third ceramic wave was a bit close. Sun Avatar didn't have as much time in order to beat it. It did do significantly worse in tier 1, simply just because if you didn't know, the ceramic cluster from tier 2 is a lot stronger than it is in tier 1. I think it's I don't know the exact number of ceramics, but I think it's like 20 more ceramics than it is from tier 1. But don't quote me on that. I don't actually know too much about what the bosses spawn in order to talk on that. Anyways, I was tier 2 taken down in a bit of amount of time. So for tier 3, I figured that I don't really need too much. I got perma-bruise, so that way Sun Avatar now does do double damage. Well, I guess it's a bit more than double damage, seeing as AMD does give extra damage to Moab class Bloons. So I guess it is a bit more than double damage. But even like with the whole double damage thing, it still isn't doing too hot against tier 3 Bloonarius. But it is doing, I guess, good enough to where I don't really have to worry too much. I just have to get homeland, and I'm pretty much fine. Even with handicapping myself on money, it still didn't turn out, I guess, to be like too awful to really, I guess, kind of manage. And it's just kind of speaks to Sun Avatar's kind of sheer strength, seeing as, you know, if like normally I'd be able to afford, you know, something like Ultra Boost by now and just get Temple for tier 4, and then tier 5 is usually a breeze depending on if the tower's actually strong enough in order to actually beat Bloonarius. Sorry, Elite Defender. I think Elite Defender is probably the only tower so far that wasn't actually able to do it. But it does definitely speak to how strong Sun Avatar is, seeing as like with this light amount of buffs, it's still going to be able to beat Bloonarius, albeit it's still going to take a bit of amount of time. Seeing as we only have Overclock, Homeland, and Perma-Brew, which I guess is kind of the majority of buffs at the moment, we are still missing, you know, the essentials like, you know, Ultra Boost for one. The 10x stacks does make a pretty significant difference if I do say so myself. We are missing Energizer, but Energizer doesn't really benefit Sun Avatar directly. That's mainly just for, you know, Homeland and Ultra Boost just to come up just a wee bit quicker. And also just farming a bit with combined with Monkeynomics. Skipping forward a tiny bit to the last skull, which Sun Avatar is actually able to take down with relative ease. I didn't even have to use Dora's double attack speed this run, although I was contemplating using it towards the end. Seeing as, you know, Sun Avatar was, Bloonarius was going to exit the range of Sun Avatar pretty soon, but thankfully Sun Avatar was able to kill Bloonarius quickly enough to where it didn't get blocked by the little skull, which I can't actually remove. That's disabled for this week, unfortunately, so just in case you're asking about that, I can't actually remove it. I was thinking of doing, you know, Grandmaster Ninja instead of Sun Avatar for this week of Bloonarius, seeing as, you know, I guess Streambed would be a good map for Grandmaster, but unfortunately, just due to the fact that I can't actually remove it, I decided to wait just to wait for Bloonarius to roll around again. Hopefully, that'll be a good Grandmaster Ninja map. For tier 4, I decided to kick my farming into high gear and just kind of get a bunch of main mobs just to stall the round to get Monkeynomics to make as much money as humanly possible. This is able to afford Ultra Boost by this tier, and I am starting to set up for a temple, which hopefully will help kill this tier pretty fast. Although looking at how much damage Bloonarius is taking right now, Sun Avatar is doing pretty well, and this isn't even with max buff. It still is missing, you know, Super Brittle, Glue Storm, Glue Strike I should say, and it still doesn't have all stacks of Ultra Boost on it. It's only half at power right now, and I am missing, of course, you know, True Sun God and Temple. Although I will say, it does seem like Sun Avatar is struggling a bit against these ZOMG insides without Homeland, which is a bit concerning, but thankfully XXL trapped in the back did help out a bit. But I guess you could say, oh yeah, it's, we won't really say it's cheating technically, but just kind of whatever. So I'm setting up my temple right now. I did put the temple, tier 4 temple, in range of Sun Avatar, which is, I guess, a mistake and a blessing, as it does help Sun Avatar do a bit more damage against Bloonarius. It can't really get tier 5 right now, seeing as if I did, I'd sacrifice Sun Avatar, but I guess it doesn't really matter too much, seeing as, you know, I'm not really at the point where I'm able to afford True Sun God at the moment. But regardless, even without True Sun God buffs, I'm still pretty good. Sun Avatar is kind of doing work against some real work against Bloonarius. I think I think the only other towers that were like this easy, I think, was, you know, Sub Commander and Tax Zone. Although Tax Zone was kind of a no-brainer. That thing is insane against mob class balloons. So, the final tier, Bloonarius, tier 5. We've got all buffs manageable, true Sun God down in the corner. The only thing I'm missing is Adora's double attack speed, which I am sacrificing right now. Adora is absolutely freaking out when it comes to the double attack speed. It's kind of funny to see. I guess what happens when you combine Homeland. I guess it would be fun to see if super buff Adora can actually beat Bloonarius, although I am going to have to definitely refine farming strategies for that. If you didn't actually see my super buff Quincy or super buff Churchill video, doing heroes is a lot harder, seeing as they need a lot of support. If super buff Churchill taught me anything, is that heroes for tiers 1 through 3 need so much support that you can't realistically beat the remaining tiers, because since you spent so much money on support, that took away from all your farming efforts. So I kind of found that doing super buff heroes is a lot more difficult than actually doing super buff towers, which is kind of strange, but I guess it does sort of make sense. Towers do have a lot more potential for power than heroes do, so it's just kind of that. And Sun Avatar is actually doing some insane DPS at the moment, kind of shredding tier 5 Bloonarius like it's nothing. I kind of wanted to, maybe I should have done maybe Elite, just cuz, but I figured that, you know, it's not as strong as Tax Zone, so maybe it's not. Tax Zone absolutely melted tier 5 Bloonarius, while Sun Avatar did pretty good, but not really as great as Tax Zone did. So just kind of looking at the pops, as you can see here, Sun Avatar did do the most amount of damage. If you enjoyed the video, like, comment, subscribe, join Discord, link is down below in the description.